Okay, well, we finally reached season 4, which opens with a two-parter, Princess Twilight Sparkle, which is the first two-parter since the Crystal Empire. Okay, and this is the story of what happens to Twilight now that she's taking up the reins of becoming a princess. Yeah, she has to spend a lot more time in Canterlot with the other princesses, and she has less time for her friends. Although they're sort of everybody's growing up now. They're going down different paths, and they're still friends. They're still trying to spend time together, but they're sort of comprehending that things are changing and all that. So okay, it's time for the big celebration that they came together during in the first place. So I guess I'm assuming it's been exactly 1 year since they met each other in the show's timeline. I don't think this is supposed to have happened since the first episode. So okay, the friends though they still have to do what they did last time in Ponyville, taking care of the preparations and stuff. And Twilight now is a princess, so she has to help front the celebration in the town of Canterlot. So, okay, looks like everybody is still having. They're all prepared. They know this is what they have to do and everything, but they're having a mixed sort of reaction to it. Everybody reacts a little bit differently. Yeah, Rarity and Applejack, they want to call Twilight Princess Twilight now. They want her to embrace being a princess. They want to celebrate that with her and learn about how, but it's not a natural born showboater. She doesn't yet think that she doesn't want her friends to call her that. And meanwhile, Rainbow Dash and Rarity says it's every pony's dream to become a princess. Well, I don't think it's every pony's dream. Like, yeah, Rainbow Dash doesn't want to be singled out as the one who's not making her dream come true. Okay, you get it. Anyway, and then of course a big catastrophe happens. Some mysterious plants from the Everfree forest that nobody can get rid of start invading, and then just after the two princesses, Luna and Celestia, mysteriously disappear. So okay, yeah, well, then Twilight, of course, has to take charge because she's the last princess available to lead the palace guards and such. And meanwhile, the friends, when the Everfree Forest starts invading, they need to, of course, unite as a team, including Twilight once again, and wield the elements of harmony and uh, find whatever's causing this. So, and it involves Discord too, who they drag in thinking he's responsible. But all right. Anyway, yeah, I right from the start this episode, it's showing you the new path that they're on. How Twilight is one trying to adjust to her new pair of wings, and how yeah, she actually will be required to use them. So what she has Rainbow Dash as her teacher, using her well-established talent of flying to try to help Twilight iron out the ripples that come with something she's never tried before, and there's that. Yeah, how Twilight is utilizing what she does best to be a good princess, like a checklist, run through it, yeah, micromanaging every detail to a T, and then yeah, how the friends, how they're supportive, but it's just there's nothing you can do about the fact that it's a transition, and there's going to be awkward stretches in that, and everything. I'm just watching all this like, gee, where was the writing like this last season? This is exactly what you want to see. This is showing you so much of just what it takes, and what to hope for, what to get behind. Yeah, how Twilight and all of the friends just react in the moment, exploring their development, and so yeah, and then this conflict too. They do a good job. Establishing this as a mystery and weaving it into how things are changing, how this is a new dynamic, and so yeah, just part one. Oh my god, they got it. They figured it out. Whatever. Just where was this last season? But okay, part two. The other thing is though that this is the first time I think since the very first episode, since since I think that's the only one. First time since the very first episode where I'm gonna say that there was a pretty noticeable dip in quality between episode 1 and episode 2. Like, I mean, all the two-parters, I guess I could have picked a favorite episode, except maybe Crystal Empire, but no, they were both, like, in the same league, except for Friendship is Magic, because the first episode of Friendship is Magic was, I thought, great, one of the best shows that made you get behind everybody right away, and then 2 was probably only borderline great, but yeah, well, I think the first episode of Princess Twilight Sparkle is a great one. The second one definitely falls a little short of great, because, I mean, it's, well, for one, I mean, the transition, we have, well, they also bring in Sakura, I forgot to mention, but, who has a potion that can help them solve this problem. That was another good touch, because Twilight has an Alicorn now, has to use her Alicorn magic to solve the problems, again, weaving in how this is changing, how Twilight has new responsibilities and new resources to draw upon, and all of that. So, okay, that was, but, so yeah, she gets a vision of Princess Luna turning into Nightmare Moon, enraged that the everybody's celebrating the quote-unquote wonderful light, or whatever it is, something like that. Okay, so she insists there can only be one princess, and she turns into Nightmare Moon. And then, okay, you hit the next episode, and then, okay, Princess Celestia enters, and they're both not acknowledging Twilight, so, okay, you realize that this isn't quite what it looked like at first. This is, I mean, Twilight's not actually there, she's just seeing this, but then, yeah, I mean, of course, Nightmare Moon reappears, everybody is going to be wondering about that, like, the minute it hit, because, I mean, I won't say that they were hinting that this could have happened, but, I mean, there was, I don't know, it was like, well, Luna has been on a recovery arc, so, I mean, the idea that she could turn back to Nightmare Moon, I mean, that hasn't, I won't say that was completely out of the question, but, okay, then she does, and it turns out it was just a flashback to the first time she did it, but, yeah, no, and I mean, I guess, I'm sure nobody really wanted to see her change back, and I mean, Luna is such a good character in the few times we've seen. We haven't seen much, but what's there is great. So, but, okay, so, but yeah, it turns out there's nothing to worry, it's just a flashback, and it's not even a flashback that has to do with anything, which makes it feel like such a cheat that, like, it doesn't tie into the story at all. It's so Twilight can say, that's how the elements of harmony looked in the past when Princess Celestia takes them out and vanishes. Nothing there that couldn't have been established in the next flashback, which is the two defeating Discord with the elements, and then farther back still to where they got the elements from. So, okay, I mean, yeah, it's the first sign that this episode doesn't maybe build the momentum as well as it could have, because it gets worse from there. Because, I mean, they go into the Everfree Forest to investigate. They think that's where they're going to find what Twilight saw in the flashback, the Tree of Harmony, which, was where they got the elements from, and what's supposed to, I guess, balance the Everfree Forest or whatnot. So, I mean, apparently, Princess has said it would still have enough magic to do that at least, but now that it doesn't have the elements anymore and these plants have shown up, okay, apparently it can't. So, okay, yeah, they leave Discord, who refuses to come along and help, which is actually, I think, a justified response, because they summon him with the elements and then just start pistol whipping him, like accusing him right away of being guilty before they even really have any evidence, and then when he doesn't fess up anyway, they start threatening to blast him back to stone, and they would have too if only Fluttershy hadn't intervened. Okay, that's, I mean, innocent until proven guilty and all that. I mean, gee, you want this guy to be your friend so he'll be on the good side. I mean, you realize that pistol whipping people is not how you get them to be your friends, right? So Discord was kind of justified in saying he didn't want to help them after all the quote-unquote pointing. But, okay, so that a little bit contrived there. I mean, it's just, I don't know, it's still, I mean, it had a great vision of what it wanted, and some of that included just exactly like this great progression for these characters, but I mean, it also, I don't know, it just didn't seem to have a story in mind where it could keep that going smoothly all the way through, because then, okay, the next thing that happens, they enter the forest, they're attacked by the monster they came up with this time, which is a crocodile, I guess, made of rocks, and Twilight tries to fly away when it comes after her, but she can't, so it gets her, and of course, she conveniently forgets that she can teleport, and I mean, well, I mean, well, she's using her wings a lot in this episode, and I mean, in some cases, like when she travels to Ponyville, I mean, okay, obviously we've only seen her teleport so far, so it's not like her magic could have gotten her there, but no, when there's a crocodile coming at her, she only has to move a few feet to get away for the moment. Okay, why does she try to fly away, hit the ground, and then just cringe and not try anything? That's even more contrived than Spike not using his fire breath against the Timberwolves. But okay, but yeah, not only then do when the friends lasso the crocodile, they take it down. Okay, not only is that totally legit that we're expected to believe Twilight couldn't do anything with all her magic. She's the element of magic. Not only are we supposed to buy that would have been no help, but then Twilight is so helpless or so vulnerable that they want her to turn back and okay, just leave the rest to them, because the rest of them aren't princesses. So if one of them is lost, it's not the same as Twilight being lost, because then there are no more princesses to lead Equestria. And okay, that of course is the most contrived thing of all. I mean, I could I never claimed to be the expert, but I mean, when I can think of enough good reasons to tear it to shreds, there is a problem. So yeah, that's well. Okay, for one, they need Twilight to activate the elements of harmony, so okay, they just crippled their best weapon by sending her back. Two, we've established several times that the princesses are supposed to be the first ones standing between the conflicts that endanger the kingdom and the subjects. So, okay, this is what Twilight's job entails. Okay, so let's protect Twilight by having her not do her job. That kind of defeats the purpose of her job. You know? And then, okay, also though, Discord points out when she runs back out, he starts saying, okay, so you think that you're a princess, you're more important than everyone else? That's what you're saying? Like, I'm sure that, if you start treating yourself that way, that you're totally going to remain friends with all of them. That, they're going to have this great bonding experience without you, and then they're going to come back and everything will totally be just the same as it was before. So, Discord pointing out, actually more just from the outside looking in, but what's wrong with this from a writing standpoint. But I mean, okay, just horribly contrived to make her turn back. It was totally just so they could force this message about how much the dynamic should change without actually finding a good reason to push the question, just sort of, claiming it should be pushed because they can't think of a better reason. But, okay, and then Twilight runs back into the forest to find them, and I'm thanking Discord at this point for being the voice of reason in this episode of all things. But okay, then she's attacked by a bunch of knockout gas shooting plants, and she doesn't do anything to it. She is completely helpless. I mean, you see her coughing and stuff. I mean, but there's a good at least 30 seconds where she's still on her feet. She doesn't even try anything. You guys are kind of on a helpless kick with Twilight, aren't you? Which, okay, I mean, you just went from the last episode, how she's the greatest pony ever, to this helpless kick, which, I mean, I think she's at least a little quicker on her feet than that, but okay, so then the friends have to save her again, and from that they're supposed to learn that they shouldn't have been worried about not saving her, which is the right thing to learn, but I mean, they should learn that, but I mean, you didn't actually teach them that lesson, now you're just claiming they learned it, because they did have to save Twilight again, and she wakes up at the end, and makes a last-minute contribution, like Pinkie Pie has tied up what she thought was the last of them, but there's exactly one left that's going to totally get her from behind, and then Twilight shoots it before it wakes up and shoots it before it can make a move. So yeah, that's no episode. Not good enough. Twilight should have been helping take them down too. But anyway, see, I think Twilight, like the magic in this stuff. I guess it's gone from now. They can, yeah, the princesses and Twilight can. I never really bothered to talk much about that, but I mean, I guess it's like the show's kind of been deciding, what to do with the magic horn beams and stuff like that. Because starting out, it was like whenever somebody's horn would light up to move something around, it was sort of a vague sort of. Well, a little more translucent shade of whatever the color was, and then I think that later in the season 2 or season 2, whatever, it started to become a little darker shaded. So, and I think that was just an animation choice. I don't think that was supposed to be the magic becoming stronger. But yeah, now we're getting more of these neon beams and stuff like that. I mean, it's starting to seem a little more like a show that uses magic like that for action-packed stuff, and like the before it was like the magic more often than not was just something they could do sort of off to the side. It was just like a tool in times of need, and now it seems like it's supposed to be a little more front and center. But okay, anyway, so yeah, they find the tree. Well, the friends already found the tree. They it was being strangled by the plants, the dark plants. They didn't know what to do about it. So now Twilight looks it over and decides that they need to give it back the elements of harmony so it can throw off the evil plants and keep them off. And so yeah, they do. It restores the plant, but they don't want to, but they really don't want to, because they've been hammering in this whole two-parter how the elements of harmony are what keep them connected no matter what. And Twilight says, okay, well, that our friendship is what keeps it. That's more powerful than anything. It will always keep us connected. It might be tested, but it will not be broken, regardless of whether we have the elements requiring us to do that. But I mean, it's it wasn't really. They've been. I don't want to say there was nothing pushing her to come to that decision, but it's not like they've sort of affirmed it. They've done something to affirm it. They've it's almost more like they're accepting it, like they're trying to be comfortable pushing forward with that as their mindset. So I don't know if that was their intention, that this is only supposed to be the first part, or if this was actually supposed to be the here they've come full circle, but okay, it's definitely not the latter. So I'm going to hope the former was intentional, because this episode, it has sort of more that reflective tone. It's not about it's not really also triumphant and stuff like. It's a lot more reflective. It's a little more bittersweet and uncertain, and just accepting the changing time. So it's not as much fun to get behind, and part 2 does have a lot of big contrivances, but even part 2, I will say, is a good episode. So yeah, this two-parter really has me excited for what this season will do, because I mean, I think it's definitely sort of getting back into the characters. I mean, I don't know if the magical mystery cure, if they thought that somebody suggested they thought that maybe it would be the last episode, so if they thought they had to just get it all out there at once. But okay, no, now they're planning it out and everything. They're playing it really smart, and so yeah, I guess this is, and of the parts that have dealt with Twilight being a princess, like somebody pointed out, well, a couple of you pointed out that Equestria girls, that the problems were always solved like right away. There were a couple of complaints about that. It never occurred to me while I was watching Equestria Girls to object to that, actually, and I think why it didn't occur to me is because I didn't think the problems they came up with warranted much more than that. Like what the school is divided along these cliques, this sort of artificial setup that doesn't happen. Like, okay, well, at least they're not trying to wring more drama out of that. Like, you're going to find it so identifiable. They come up with a solution to that everybody can get behind the notion of friendship as presented. Like, I mean, but yeah, real friendship is worth getting behind, worth coming together over if you can find the right occasion. So, okay, that is your moral, and that's it. That's all you need to take from it. You don't need to go on about it like you're going to find that oh so identifiable. So, yeah, I mean, if they tried to wring more out of that, I probably would have said it was lame melodrama. Or, Shimmer framing Twilight for messing up the gym. That's okay. Editing a picture. That's an incredibly cheap way to go about it. Everybody that knows Twilight at this point that actually knows her, which admittedly would be just the 5 friends, but I mean, even so, everybody would say she had no reason to do it. There's probably witnesses to what she was doing at the time that would be horribly contrived if that would have forced some, I don't know, melodramatic. How could you, Twilight? I thought we were friends, or I thought you were. So yeah, I'm so glad we didn't have to sit through that. Like when I was watching that scene, I was worried they were going to go down some contrived melodramatic path. I was hoping they would play it a little smarter, and then when it just ended, when Flash Sentry showed up with the solution to save the day, I'm like, oh, that's all we have to sit through from that. But better yet, better than playing it smart. They just get it over with. They establish that Twilight needs to stay on her toes because of Shimmer, and they establish that Flash Sentry is a legitimate, nice, forgettable, and pointless love interest. So, okay, they established it, and we get to move on. So, okay, but this episode, so there's that. It was like they didn't have the best conflicts, I think, but the solutions were validly solved them, so they weren't powerhouse solutions, but they were exactly what was warranted for the conflicts. So, okay, they were both relatively small scale, but at least they were balanced. And Magical Mystery Cure, so yeah, where Equestria goes, I thought it was okay. Magical Mystery Cure, I thought fell a little short, as I mean, it wanted the solutions to just reach for the stars, to be powerhouses, but okay, the conflicts it came up with, it was trying to wring all that from, I thought, really contrived conflicts. So, okay, it may have like reached higher than Equestria Girls, but it wasn't balanced at all. So I thought it just crash. Essentially, I mean, like I said, I thought it was mixed. I didn't think it was a loss of an episode, but I mean, I thought it crashed pretty hard in the biggest points of what it was trying to do. So I enjoyed that a little less, in spite of the fact that it reached higher. And now this episode that comes up with the most legitimate conflicts of both of them, and it finds a way to solve them all with really powerhouse solutions and stuff. So, for the most part, I guess I should say that, yeah, like Twilight rising to the challenge and everything, that's really good. But I mean, it's not like a totally solving them, which may or may not, I guess it wasn't, I'm going to assume it was intentional, so the tone is more reflective. So I mean, it's not as much fun as some of the past 2-parters have been, but okay, even so, yeah, I'm going to say it's easily the best of the 3 stories we've had so far about Twilight becoming a princess. And so, okay, yeah, I'm really happy to see it, but and so I will note that technically the one that was reaching the highest with the solutions was Magical Mystery Cure. So I mean, if you combine like the just the sheer ambition of that. Well, I mean, no, this one is ambitious, but what's what I'm looking for? Just well, okay, the solutions, they may not have had very good conflicts to play off of, but they were at least really just heartfelt solutions, I guess, for lack of a better word, that wanted to get behind. You know, if only they weren't so forced in their application. But okay, if you just combine the heart and just the knowledge of what we wanted to see, what we were, just the triumph, I guess, the triumph that it knew we wanted to see from Magical Mystery Cure, and the intelligence of this episode, just, yeah, you could probably have the most powerful of all the episodes, so probably the most fun, the smartest, and the most enjoyable if you found a way to combine those 2 things. So I mean, but as is, yeah, this is the only one that I'd say is an all-in-all success. So good job there. But all right, still though, it's not my favorite of the 2-parters to date. I would probably still rank it behind the big 3, that the first 3 2-parters that I thought were just great through and through, which, yeah, Friendship is Magic, Return of Harmony, and Canterlot Wedding. And now as for how it ends, we have, one, the revelation that it actually was Discord that caused everything, that in his flashback he was eating seeds that, I will admit I didn't catch that, so maybe I'm just a little oblivious to these things, but yeah, he was eating, well, they looked like black pebbles, but they turned out to be the seeds that grew the plants after he was turned to stone. He was just throwing them on the ground and whatever, and he says that he planned that. He planned for them to... okay, so that was apparently his plan before he was reformed, and he didn't know why they didn't sprout until now, and he decided not to tell them about it because he thought it would be better learning experience for them, which because that kind of, I mean, the point of, well, technically, like, Discord wasn't out to hurt anybody this time around, so it seemed like they were trying to say that, okay, they shouldn't have been pistol whipping him with the elements of harmony, and I mean, and literally they shouldn't have been. I mean, if they actually expect the friendship thing to go anywhere, I mean, that should have, in all honesty, tossed that right out the window if they're gonna treat him that way. But okay, so yeah, I mean, now it seemed like they counteracted that message a little bit because it was Discord essentially who was the cause of all of this. So I mean, that kind of mixes things up. And then Fluttershy 2 goes back to Pistol Whip It. Now they don't have the elements of him, and they don't have the elements anymore. But okay, yeah, now even so, when Discord hears that, Fluttershy is like, "But if you want to stay friends, you'll stop thinking whatever it is you're thinking and do exactly what we say." It would kind of serve them right if he just said, like, "Well, you know what, apparently you don't want to be my friend very much, so I'm just doing what I want." But okay, but yeah, anyway, though, as is Discord, it seems like the role they have in mind for him, just sort of the enigma that you don't know, you can't really predict what he's doing, you're never totally sure, but he does seem to, in his own way, be acting as a friend or as a guide of sorts, or like you never know what he's up to, but he seems to, at the end of the day, be helping. That's, I guess, a good role for him, sort of clever, although, I will say he is, well, he's not seeming domesticated just yet. I mean, he's still one of the most enjoyable parts of the episode, just like every episode he's in, but I mean, I don't know, just stuff where, like, he yields to the pistol whipping and puts on a maid uniform and stuff and starts doing the maid strut just for a laugh. I mean, you are worried that he's becoming a little bit domesticated, so, okay, well, take that for what it's worth. But then, also, though, they set up what I guess is going to be a running conflict through the season where they find the tree after it gets the elements back. It presents them with a box that you need a bunch of keys to open. So they're going to have to find the keys, and we'll see where that goes. So, okay, not only am I excited to see what they can do now, but yeah, definitely interested to see what's going to come from the box of keys, since the first one that's had a running conflict planned out ahead of time that they're going to be thinking about through the season, I guess. So, okay, we'll see where that goes, and I'll see you at the next one, which is Castlemania.